Welcome to BookHuddle. I'm your host, Karen Reader with Readgab. Today we have a author duo team, and I'm really excited to be interviewing Catherine Lumsden and Nate Pieplow. Kate and Nate, authors extraordinaire, working together on this just incredible book, Confessions of a Mango. We're going to get into it, but I really just love for the authors to introduce themselves. So, Kate, will you take a second, introduce yourself, and then we'll give it to Nate.
Hi, I'm Kate, and I'm an author, and I work with Nate. And I like to write books about middle graders that are going through stuff because I went through a lot of stuff as a middle grader, and I have two kids, and they provide a lot of inspiration for the books.
Thanks.
And I'm Nate. And in addition to writing and teaching writing, I'm also crazy about birds. And I wrote two field guides to bird sounds. And I have eaten a Reuben sandwich in 63 of the 64 counties in Colorado.
And
All right.
but he can tell
Awesome.
what the birds are saying.
So,
He's
real
like the
quick,
cute
just
little bird.
yesterday, my husband was listening to Brian Regan, and this part was like, and this golf, I don't know, association got in trouble because they were playing ambient bird music, and a bird watcher called in and was like, that bird is not native to that area. So you could have told them. You could have pointed that
It
out.
might have been him. He's done
It
that
might have
before.
been him.
Happens all the time.
You're like, no, no. Let me tell you.
It's actually rare for you to be watching a show, like a TV
Uh-huh.
or a movie, and for the bird sounds to actually match the location where the show is supposedly taking place.
I love that there's people out there being like, nope, that's not right. Because most of us are just not, I'm not even noticing there's even bird noises going on, quite
Most
honestly.
people don't notice, right? But
Right.
like if you blindfolded me and took me anywhere in the US and then let me hear the birds, I could probably tell you within 100 miles or 200 miles like where
Where
you
you are.
yeah.
That is so cool. I love like learning unique things about people. That is awesome. I love to do an author icebreaker. So let's start with Nate. Based on James and the Giant Peach, James befriends these insects. So what is a giant insect you would love to make friends with and why?
I would love to befriend a giant dragonfly
Oh, that's cool.
if it would give me rides
Oh
and
yeah,
I could
Cool.
not me.
fly around on a dragonfly.
Sounds scary.
I just learned a lot about dragonflies from Jennifer Nilsson at an author event. And did you know, like, they start not like with wings? I'm like, why do not we know so much about like caterpillars to butterflies, but like dragonflies are similar. Like in the water, they don't have their wings, and then when they go out of the water, they become I don't know. They don't,
Yeah,
not the same thing as caterpillar to butterfly, but I thought that was so cool. I was like, more people should know about this. Dragonflies are awesome.
they really are.
That is cool. All right. So for Kate, we've got Allie Millington's books, Olivetti and Once for Yes. She writes these books that just make me cry about inanimate objects. So I think this is so incredible. Like this typewriter that like thinks, and I just love it that it causes me so much emotion. So what is an inanimate object, Kate, that you would just love to communicate with?
A clock.
A clock. Okay.
It'd
Wow.
be like an atomic clock. We've got
Cool.
one in Boulder, which is where we're from, and it's amazing how it works. And I'm always running late, and time and space have always been big interests of mine. And my daughter is really into space and time. And so we talk about time all the time. And I would love to have a conversation with the clock, or at least have it like remind me, but not in like the way an alarm does, but just, you're going to be late.
Right.
Or you're going to be early because I'm always 5 minutes early and Nate is always 5 minutes late. And if we could have a clock that would coordinate us a bit better in that way.
You want the clock to coordinate for you, or I thought you wanted to have like deep philosophical
Both, both.
discussions.
That's the thing
Oh,
about a clock is it could be both a buddy and like a philosophical
yes.
voice of reason, right?
Right. Yes. Like clocks must know so much and see so much because people are always shouting at the clock, oh no, or
Yes.
they have so much, so many stories to tell, I am sure. That is awesome. Okay. Kate, tell us, what is Confessions of a Mango about?
It's about a middle schooler who has dyslexia. And it's loosely based on my life because I have a twin brother and I
Okay.
have dyslexia. And we went to middle school, and right about that time, school started becoming really hard for me, and he just kind of sailed through. And then my kids were diagnosed with dyslexia, and all of that came back when they started middle school. And I kept on telling all the parents with kids with dyslexia and my kids, like, it's gonna be fine. I really had a horrible time in middle school and part of high school. And then eventually it all made sense. And I went really far in school and I like got my doctorate, and none of it mattered in the end.
I love
But
that. It's gonna be fine. I had a horrible time.
I know. I'm like, you don't have to do well in middle school to do well in life. And I was so stressed out and I was so worried, like, what am I going to do? And how am I going to fit in? And then it ended up being a bunch of worry for nothing. Nate always thinks worry is for nothing. I like to worry. So
My
I,
husband's the same way as you, Kate. Like he's like, no, I need to worry about this. Like,
yes, I will worry about things. But I knew not to worry about this. And so I was telling my kids, don't worry. And there's some great books that have come out, like
yes.
Overcoming Dyslexia, and they're for grown-ups to talk about how dyslexia works. But there's not a lot for kids to say, hey, it's fine.
Right.
So I really wanted to write a book where the character had dyslexia, they struggled, but they were still smart, maybe not smart in the same way as everybody else.
Right.
And and I called Nate up and I was like, you know what, we need to write a book about. And
Nice.
Nate's usually game to write just about anything. So
That's not entirely the way that it happened.
All right. So you tell us.
The way that it happened was I left
he
town.
does this. He goes on his birds trips for like a month at a time.
I left town for 3 weeks to go
Okay.
on a birding trip, and while I was gone, she wrote a book.
And while you're
And he got home and I was like, this is our next book, please.
all right. So I need to know more about this then. How did you guys initially connect to be, because is this not the first book that you've written together then? Have you
We've
been
been
in on
writing
these birding books, Kate? Or
no,
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 you
oh
guys
no,
did?
I'm not good
No,
with
you're not in on the
that.
birding books.
We've been in the same writers group for like 8 or 9 years.
Okay.
And then right before the pandemic, I'm horrible at grammar because of dyslexia.
Ah,
And
me too.
Nate teaches writing at the university. And
Nice.
so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to meet with them and try to get some grammar
Yes.
skills. Maybe they'll like seep off of him into me. And
Yes.
then he was like, we'll meet and you can teach me more about plotting and storytelling.
Nice.
And then in the middle of it, we started to realize that I don't like the grammar,
No.
which I don't think is that weird.
I'm with you, Kate. I am so with you.
And Nate decided that he didn't love the blank page and storytelling. And then the pandemic happened, and Nate couldn't go on his birding trips because of the pandemic. And so we decided to sit in my front yard and write books together. So
Nice.
we've been writing together for
6 years.
6 years.
6 years. Awesome. Is this the first one that's out, or am I not aware
It
of
is.
other
It's the
ones?
first
Okay.
one that's out.
Okay,
It took a
excellent.
bit of a time to get the partnership down and figure out how to work as a team.
Yes, I picture that being difficult in some ways. Like I hear a lot of people that do it and I think it's great. I think it sounds awesome. But yes, learning to coordinate and work together and this is your job or let's make a change here. Yeah. So that's awesome. Yeah, my husband will be the one that fixes my stuff or commas. He'll be like, "Do you just
Commas
want me
are
to teach
horrible.
you how to do commas?" And I'm
No,
like,
it's wherever you take a breath. I don't take a breath. There are
"Right?
no commas.
You take a breath. I like that.
It's
I'll tell him."
true. She never takes a breath. It's just word after word after word
Word
after
over word
word.
after word. Right? And so you can totally relate to my husband, then Nate. And he's like, I'll teach you. And I'm like, can you just fix it? Can you
Yeah,
just
I know. At a certain
and fix it for
stage.
me? Because I'm not gonna, it's like, teach me how to coach soccer and I'm still not gonna remember. Just no, no. I love it though that you guys are working together. So tell me with Confessions of a Mango, how did that go? Did you have a family member as well that was really social? Because I love that the twins have different strengths in Confessions of a Mango. You need to remind me the names because I forget names really easily.
So the twin brother's name is Bryce,
Bryce.
and the main character's name is Ruby.
Ruby and Bryce. Okay, so Bryce, he's not strong on the social skills. Is that just similar in your family, like how you have this dyslexia?
I would say at the time, my twin brother now is very outgoing and social. He's a podiatrist, well, a foot doctor for anyone who doesn't
Yes.
know what that is. And he's very social now, but growing up, he was always shy. And he was very tall and
Hmm.
kind of stood out and was a little bit more awkward. I think he's okay with me saying that.
And if
Send me a
he's
message.
not,
If not, we'll get that edited. We're not
No,
live.
he's fine with it. He's read the book. He's like, oh, it's not too far off the mark. But he was always really bright and we got along really well. But right around that age, it started becoming hard because there were things that he had easier and I had easier.
Right.
And when we got older, we learned how to work with like our weaknesses and our strengths. But at that time, it's really difficult when you're just kind of
Yes.
into it, right? And so I took a lot of my inspiration for Bryce from my brother.
Nice. Nice. I love it. So those were my two favorite elements in the book is that, we all have different strengths. And then the other one is the importance of failure. I think that we do not stress enough that, hey, to grow, we need to fail. That is an important thing in life. So I'd love to dive into both of these things more. So let's talk about how to help kids see their strengths. For one, how you do that as a parent, how you've seen that in writing. Nate, do you also have kids?
I don't.
Okay. So, you tell us about it from your
Well, he
experience when
says that,
you
but he has a lot of students.
he has a lot of students. And you have, well,
So he's probably
I feel
exposed to
like
more kids than us.
I feel like you're still going to have valuable input here. You were a big part of this book, you're co-authoring this book, and then you have your own experience and with your students. And let's hear both of your points of view about how to help kids find their own strengths and shine in them and see the importance of them. Because especially like my 11-year-old is just like, I I'm not good at anything. I'm not good at anything. And he's really, really smart, actually. He gets like A's across the board and it's really comes really quickly for him. But he's like, stupid school. Who wants to be good at school? Like, I don't think it's even occurred to him that he could just not do school, that he could just sit back and get bad grades. So don't
Oh,
tell
that's
anybody.
probably don't teach him that.
Yes, he's in fourth grade, so I'm like, I hope he doesn't find out because once he realizes that he doesn't have to do this, because he just hurries and does it, and then he's like, there, done. And he's like annoyed with it. But he doesn't see other strengths. And I think this is common in kids that they see their weaknesses, but not their strengths.
Nate is really good at finding strengths. In our writers group, he is always the one who has the best good feedback on what is working. So I'll let him go first.
Right?
Let me go first. Answering what question
How
exactly?
do kids find their strengths?
How do kids find their
Yeah,
strengths?
how to help kids
And
find strengths.
I'm a teacher,
Yes.
and I work primarily with university students, so they're a little older.
No crossover.
But I think that I worked earlier with high school kids and middle school kids when I was earlier in my teaching career. I think at any level, if you're trying to teach somebody something, being a writing teacher is all about being a constant optimist. You have to see what's working and you have to see what's good and you have to see what things could be, and it's all about seeing the bright side of things and saying, hey, like, I see a possibility here. I see, you could do this. You're really good at this piece. I really liked this thing. And then I think if you are a kid who's not seeing your own strengths, you need to hear those strengths articulated for you by somebody else, somebody
Right.
that you trust, a teacher, a parent, a friend. So I think the number one way to help kids find their strengths is to see those strengths in them and then tell them, show them, mention it.
Nice. What can you add to that, Kate?
Oh, I was going to say, who cares if you're strong at things?
Right?
That's what I'm always telling my kids. It's a lot of trial and error. And if you're worried about being smart, if you're worried about getting it right, then you're focused on that rather than just enjoying it. Since we published a book, we have so many kids that come up and say, am I a good writer? I want to be. I'm like, no one's a good writer at your age. Don't
Right.
focus on getting published. Just have fun with it. Like, write what you want to write. Play with the characters you want to play with. Don't write for somebody else. Write for yourself.
Yeah.
Mess up. Have fun. Be messy. And don't worry about being good at it because none of us start out good at anything. It's all
Right.
practice and playing with it. So usually when kids ask, I say, don't. You don't
Right?
have to be good at it to love it. In fact, you'll probably love it more if you're not trying to be good at it.
Oh, I
But
love that. You'll love it more if you're not trying to be good at it.
I do agree with Nate. When my kids bring me stuff, I try to pick out specific things they're doing well. Like, wow, the dialogue sounded really how people speak when you wrote this.
Nice.
Or the first line caught me. So really specific things so they can see exactly what's working rather than you're a good writer or you're smart. Because I
Right. No
think
blanket
when you
statements.
say like, oh, you're a good writer, then there's nowhere to go from there. Whereas if you pick out one or two little things that kids do well, then
Right.
they can kind of build on those.
Love it. Love it. I love the just do it because you love it. Like go play basketball because it's fun. Don't worry about like being the NBA player right now. Go have
Yes,
fun.
exactly.
Be
And it
happy.
takes so much time. And math, oh, I'm not good at math. I'm like,
Yes.
what is being good at math? No, we're just all learning how the numbers work together. And some people figure it out sooner, and some people
Right?
figure it out later. But really, it's just getting a relationship with numbers. And
Yeah.
so puts too much pressure on us to say, oh, I'm good at this or bad at this. Just exist as kids.
Yes. Just be happy in your skin and oh, yes. Love it. Okay. The importance of failure. Were you thinking of that as you were going along? Because that was just what was shining out to me is that I was like, kids should just see failure as a good thing. I don't know. I know it sounds weird. Have you heard of Michelle Icard's The Eight Setbacks That Make a Teen a Success? It's a nonfiction, and she wanted to title it something about the importance of failure. And her publisher was like, no, that's not going to sell. People don't want to read books about why we need to fail. But that's basically what it's about is teens need to fail to grow. And I loved it. And I felt like just reading this book, I was like, this is the fiction version of this book. This is it. This is like the need to fail. So can you share with us about your thoughts about that and putting it into words in writing?
I would start off by saying that in my time as a teacher, what I've found is that failure is not a motivator for
Right,
most children, or probably most people, right? Failure is only a motivator for people for whom failure is an anomaly.
right,
If you are succeeding, and then you fail, you're like, huh, that was weird.
right.
I want to do that over again, But if you fail more frequently than that, you just quit doing that thing usually because you don't want to fail. Nobody likes to fail.
No, not
Failure
fun.
might be good for us. It's not fun. It's really, really uncomfortable and it's really, really difficult. And honestly, like I would say, like when I was writing this book, I wasn't constantly thinking failure is good. And the message here is that failure is good. I was thinking the message here is that failure is awful.
Right. It
Failure
stinks.
is horrible, but
Resilience is good.
we shouldn't not talk about it and we shouldn't pretend it doesn't exist. And, Ruby walks past the school library in the book and she's like, why are there no books about failure?
Yes.
And you put your finger on why, right? The publishers don't want failure to be in the title of a
Right.
book because who wants to read the book? But there are kids who then are going to walk past that library and say, like Ruby does in the book, why are there no books about what I'm going through?
Yes.
That was that was really the basis of it because
What
when I
I'm
came
going
to
through,
I
right?
said there's two things that are themes in books. One is that the smart kid is good at reading, they have glasses, they're quiet, they're good at
Right.
school. That's always the smart kid across the
And you're
board.
both wearing glasses here, so there we go.
Yes. Did not have them when I was in
That's
middle
right.
school.
I'm going to put mine on so that I can be the smart kid now.
So that we
But
can all
but when we
be
get
the student.
older, we realize that so many people who are smarter, people who are able to think outside the box and have those critical thinking skills that
Right.
aren't always present in people. Like a lot of those kids that have really good critical thinking skills are not good at reading. They
Right.
struggle with that. They have like a learning disability, like dyslexia,
Yes.
like Ruby. So we were trying to give a protagonist who was smart but did not fit that stereotype.
Yes.
And then the second thing I told Nate was every single time I pick up a book about failure for my kids, the main character succeeds. So
Right.
they don't get first place, but they get second place. They are trying at soccer, they practice, and then they come in second in the tournament.
Right.
or they study for the spelling bee and they win the spelling bee, or anything you look at. And I said that isn't how life works.
Right.
Sometimes you put in a ton of effort and you barely make it.
Right.
So we really wanted our character to try and try and try to
Hmm.
go to tutors, to put in a ton of effort, and then it doesn't pay off right away. And
Right.
it maybe doesn't pay off until she leaves school, but she still needs to put in the effort because that's where she is in life. But
Yes.
sometimes you try your hardest and you still come in last. And so we wanted to show that there's nothing wrong with that and that that's actually how the world works. It isn't always the amount of work you put in gets you a certain distance. Sometimes it's you put in a lot of work just to hang in there.
Right.
So it's uncomfortable, but it's, I think, a reality for a lot of adults and a lot of kids. You can try. I mean, and since we've written this, I've had so many people in so many walks of life say, "Oh my gosh, I tried to be a lawyer and I failed."
Right.
Like, I thought I was going to be so much better at that, and I felt so embarrassed, and I don't talk about it ever. But it turns out I was really good at like medicine or something else.
Yes.
And just the volume of people that are like, "Oh, you know what I failed at?" And it's like, of course, we all have these stories of times we failed, but
But
we
we don't
don't
talk about them.
about that. Yeah, you tell,
Yeah.
oh, this is what my profession was to the kids. This is how well I did. You don't say
Yes.
like, oh man, you should have seen me in my like sixth grade math class. Woo, that was a doozy. You don't
Right.
say that, but that was my reality. And so I was like, let's share that so kids know
Yes.
that it's not that you don't fail, it's that you learn from the failure and you have
Yes.
resilience.
And
And
you're
that
better for the journey.
that's
Right.
right.
Yes. I love that. My dad would always tell me that. I actually remember my failures in high school more than I remember my successes. And maybe that's just because I didn't have a lot of, I mean, I did good grades and stuff, but I would, I'd go out for Sterling Scholar. I'd go out and I'd audition for this and I didn't get it and I didn't get it and I didn't get it. But I remember every time my dad being like, you're better for the experience.
You
Like,
are.
yeah,
And if you're willing to fail, you're willing to take more risks.
right.
If you were worried about not getting chosen for the school play, maybe you wouldn't try out for the school play if you didn't think you were going to get it,
Yeah.
right? So teaching kids to say, okay, it didn't work out, it's not the end of the world, is a great way to have them keep trying things.
Yes. And to find that thing. Because like you're saying, like the lawyer, the path that you went on through the failure led you to discover what you're good at.
What you're
Like,
good at, right?
yeah, the kid who tried soccer and tried basketball and it was not good, was not good, was not good, and then said to me in sixth grade, I'm going to go out for a sport in middle school. And I was like, okay, what sport? And I was so happy that it wasn't my idea. And he loves cross country. And
There you
then just this
go.
last year, he has not a minute off his time every week. Like it was crazy the way that he succeeded. But for years, all through, elementary school of trying group sports, he didn't like it. He didn't do well at it. And yeah, sometimes it's such a long haul of finding what
What you're
you
good at
what
and
you're
what
good
you
at and what you're happy.
enjoy, but you don't
Yeah.
find that out unless you try
Try
and
the
you
other
fail.
things too, right? Yeah. And I love that, Ruby's just content eventually. Like I trying to figure out how to say this without giving her spoilers because the book is so incredible. I don't want to say it, but just that contentment that they're able to be like, this is who I am. Things are going to be hard. I'm going to work hard, and that is a part of life. How important that is. I also think it's incredible the way that you wrote it because I'm reading a book right now and I am just like, I feel like it's so much that there, I love that it has themes of anxiety and it's there, but the message is so there that I'm not feeling the story. And I feel like I just had such an incredible time in the story with Confessions of a Mango. These themes of failure, I get it. I get it. I'm an adult, but I feel like the kids can just read it and not even realize that we're teaching them a lovely little lesson, that there was this beautiful story of friendship and school and things they did and didn't want to do. And so I had so much fun with it. Tell me, where did the mango come in? How
Where did
did
the
you guys?
mango come in?
Yeah, when did you guys think of that? How did you piece together these fun elements of the story that would make it enjoyable, that it wasn't this didactic? only.
The
You know what I
mango
mean?
came from this weird Where's Waldo type thing.
Okay.
Picture I saw, and it was like, can you find the one lovebird in the whole grouping of mangoes? And I'm very bad at Where's Waldo. It took me a really long time to find a lovebird. And I was like, that's so funny. Lovebirds and mangoes have the same, they look kind of similar. And
Yeah.
actually, my son's best friend had a lovebird at the time and has since passed away, and its name was Mango.
Oh,
And I was
cute.
like, that makes sense because, and of course, Nate knows a lot about birds. We never have to fight with him to have birds in any capacity. And
Hey,
so I told him, I like this idea of that it looks the same as the other things, but it feels lesser or different. And
nice.
so we figured if we had a line of lovebirds and one of them was a mango, it's a metaphor for feeling like an imposter.
Yeah.
It's a nice way of saying, "Oh, you're all doing really well, and I feel like a piece of fruit."
Yeah.
So we were hoping the kids could relate to that in a nice way instead of saying, "I feel like a failure." It's I feel like a
Yes.
mango.
A mango. I love it. All right, tell us about these other little snippets. Can you share anything else, either of you, about putting in the book of this was a fun little element or this makes the story fun and you're creating the story?
Why is there a parrot in the book?
We have a parrot,
Fun.
Mr. Feathersworth,
Yes.
and
A little
my
sassy parrot.
he is, and the it came from two things. One, my daughter was in kindergarten and the kids were just learning about swear words and they weren't allowed to say them. And she came up to me and she's like, "Mom, can you teach me some good swear words?" And I said,
Some
"I
good
can't."
swear
And so I taught her like fiddlesticks and balderdash and dagnabbit and all these old-timey curse words.
words.
And then she spread them around the school. And the kindergartner teacher was like, suddenly all the kids were swearing like they were from the 1800s. And she said, I couldn't figure out why. It was hysterical to see these kids saying these naughty swear words. And she's like, and I pinpointed it was you because your daughter was always whispering in ears. And then I'd met you enough times to know that you like vocabulary. And she came to me and she said it was great. And I had a parrot in middle school that had a sign up that said, "Don't swear at the parrot." So
Nice.
I always, but we would always joke like we should teach it the weird swears, right?
Right, right.
That aren't offensive. And so I was like, well, that those are okay to teach a parrot. It's okay if a parrot says balderdash. And then I thought, well, so many times animals, if you're around them, will kind of pick up on the vibe of what people
Yes.
are going through. And so instead of having a bunch of kids necessarily having mental breakdowns about the pressure at school, we figured that the parrot being around them all the time would be suffering from anxiety because
Poor,
the school is
poor
such a
anxious
stressful
bird.
environment. I
I
know.
don't think I don't think Mr. Feathersworth is actually anxious, but
He just
the
repeating
things
it,
he says,
Oh, okay,
right?
he's
feeling
just
overwhelmed,
repeating the stress of the.
Aren't
Okay,
is mirroring what the students are going through.
right.
okay.
If one of the phrases he knows is "This is due tomorrow," that
Yes,
tells you what kind of school we're in, you know.
Yeah, and it
yes.
speaks to what the students are confiding in the bird. So we had the bird kind of parrot back, literally,
Hmm.
what the students are going through. And so he's based off of a real bird who's probably still alive because parrots like,
Yeah, they
how
live a
long do
long
they
time,
live?
right?
Long time. That parrot probably saw more middle schoolers than like most of the teachers. Like it was crazy. So it was wonderful. Anyway, so yes, so that we tried to make it fun while
I
you're
love it.
reading it.
Yes, it was. It was so much fun. Just these quirky little things, going in the back room of the school because, these neurodiverse students that have to be removed too at testing times. I loved, I'm sure many of them would have loved to have had a bird back there with them. All right, Nate, can you tell us what influence did you guys have on the cover? Because I know you're not supposed to, pick a book by its cover, but I do. And this one really stood out to me because, for one, the gorgeous colors. And I just saw it, and the blue worked so well with the mango colors, and I was just drawn to it immediately. So, share your insights on how that went for you guys, what influence you're able to have on that.
You are not the first person to mention how great the cover is. We love the cover. So the publisher came to us first and said, here's an artist we want to use for the cover. He's
Nice.
done a lot of, kids' books covers. Take a look at the other ones he's done and let us know if you're okay with his style.
Nice.
And his name is Andy Smith. And we looked at all of his stuff and it was fantastic. And we're like,
Fantastic.
yeah, we love this style. And so then Andy Smith got to working and he sent us two designs and they were both really good, but the one that we picked, and we also like
Oh,
checked with
we talked to so many middle schoolers. Like, what do you think this book is about? Just looking at it. Would you
Yes.
want to read this book?
we did some focus groups, with like my
Nice.
nephews and nieces and like,
I just stood outside the
kids
middle
and
school. I was like, "Do you want to come?"
As they're walking out of the building, what do you think of this? There's some
Oh, and
creeper
they were so
adults standing
excited.
out there with a
Like
picture.
I felt bad because the one we didn't pick, some of the kids were like, "But that was my favorite." So sorry.
yeah.
We can't please everybody.
Right.
And we asked for a couple little alterations, like the original version did not have any lovebird on the cover. And we're like, there should be a lovebird. And so now there's a
Nice.
little tiny lovebird up sitting on the mango leaf.
Oh,
But
nice.
other than that, we basically just we picked the one we liked and we ran with it. And it's just an amazing cover for this
Yes,
book.
I love the way because the more you look at something, the more you can pick out about it. But that mango is just so huge compared to her that it feels overwhelming in a way. You know what I mean? Like at first, I'm drawn to the beauty of the colors and everything, and then I see this little person there, and I'm like, that mango's gonna crush her.
It kind of does throughout the book.
Right? Yes, it does. And I don't know if you already have this going, but we need to get like on Instagram the hashtag Confessions of a Mango going because after I
We
finished
do.
reading it, I was constantly thinking of Confessions of a Mango and I'm like, oh, we need to find out what else the parents, minds are on or get kids talking to their parents about these things.
Well, and that's one of the things my kids go to and the same school district I grew up in, and it is very competitive.
Hmm.
And it is hard because it's such a good school district and the teachers are so phenomenal. But then there is this undercurrent
Right.
of overachieving.
Yes.
And we didn't want to have any of the teachers be villains because teachers are amazing and the teachers at
Right.
the work are
Yes.
amazing. And everyone's helping her. It's not that the school is great.
Yeah.
It's just that it doesn't work for everybody and it doesn't work for her.
Right.
So what we were trying to say is, look, if you're a kid or you're a parent, you could have a great school district. It still might not be the perfect fit for your kid if they're struggling because of these other factors. So
Right.
we really wanted kids to feel like Ruby has good parents. Ruby has a great school.
Yeah.
Ruby has wonderful tutors. You can still struggle.
Right.
And not only that, but it's a great school. I'm sure it's tops in the state in terms of test scores, the fictional school in our book,
Yes.
right? But it's also got this kind of toxicity to
Yes.
its achievement culture. And we really wanted to put somebody into that school who is going to see that clearly and,
Yes.
and try to get everybody else to see it. And once she like picks up the corner of the curtain on that, she finds out that actually a lot of the kids who are doing great at school are not having a good time. They're not enjoying school. They're not, they're feeling tons of pressure. It's not all positive
Right.
at a school like this that's high achieving. Uh,
And some adults realize that after they've gotten out. Some of my friends were like, "Oh, I tried so hard in school. I was so stressed out." And at the
Right.
end, what did it really do for me to be that anxious about it? Like I ended up having like a decent career or a decent life, but did I need to be that worried about it in middle school and high school? So we were really trying to say Ruby is struggling, but the other kids are struggling in this kind of high pressure environment for different reasons.
Right. And I love that. And I feel like kids will appreciate it so much more because they'll feel like reading this book, it's their peers, right? That they're getting this from their peers because it doesn't matter how many times I tell my kids because I've got, multiple ages 5 through 16, and I can tell them up and down and backwards that you are not alone in this feeling. There are other kids feeling this like you, and they do not believe me because what do I know? I am an old
I know,
lady,
right? Were you
right?
ever young? My
Right?
kids are always asking that. You wrote a book about when you were in middle school.
Right?
I was at one point.
I was. Right? I know something about this. I know I'll often tell them like I'm like, I promise I know something about this. I taught sixth grade. I was a sixth grader. I know a few of these things, but it feels just even though they know an adult wrote this book, it feels like their peers. And so they're like, hey, yeah, this is stressful for other people.
Yeah. And it's something that I think we don't talk about. We
And we
don't
need
talk
to.
about necessarily the pressure we place on kids or how it's really important. It is important to get good grades and to learn the
Yeah,
material. And the grades can be a reflection of what you're learning, but the important thing is learning the material.
right?
So, and enjoying it.
Yes,
School
yes.
should be exciting. Oh, when as an adult, it's so hard to like learn things. I'm always getting nonfiction books and trying to learn more, but I always think, oh man, I would have loved to. I see what my kids are learning in middle school. I want to go. I want to go
Yes,
sit down and learn about the Inca. I don't remember.
right?
I would love to. And so, yeah, enjoy it. This is like the only time in your life that people are just going to be giving you tons of information and you can just absorb it. And your minds are young and you don't have work and you can just enjoy it. So they should be.
Yes, yes. Look, wherever we can maintain that level of joy across the subjects, find the kids that love this and let them share about it so that it's contagious. I feel like kindergartners, we need to get their spirit shared with more because I have a kindergartner right now and she just loves it, like this energy about learning. And she'll be so excited when she tells us stuff. She's like, did you know this? And I'm like, yes, but share your excitement. It's wonderful.
Yes. Yes, school is great. And so many of the teachers are so fantastic. I
Yes.
feel like that's been like a theme of my kids' experience growing up, and especially nowadays with the dyslexia and the neurodiversity, there's so much compassion and understanding and so many tools the teachers are implementing to really help my children. So that was something that was very important to me. I told Nathan, like, I don't want to bully in the school because I want the kids to be going through it together.
Yes.
And I want the teachers to be people you'd want as teachers
Right.
because that is what we've been exposed to.
Right. And but from the perspective of a kid, like what they feel about the teacher is what I feel like, because I feel like it rang true for what a kid was. Because
Yes.
as a teacher, sometimes I was like, oh, that teacher's just trying its best. And the way you're saying, I'm like, yeah, they are. But we're seeing it from the perspective of a kid. They're like, does she even know? And yeah, I really feel like it rang true for a child's voice. Love it. Can you share with us what's next? Do we get another author duo book from you too?
You're definitely going to get more author duo books from us. We don't know exactly what's next.
Okay,
We're we we like to toss around a lot of ideas. And
nice.
so I think we're gonna probably write at least some in the middle grade range again.
Cool.
We also, my kids are entering high school. So now there's all this new stuff we're seeing.
Yes. You'll
So we'll be pulling from that. My daughter's always telling her friends, like, don't tell her your problems. It could end up in a book very
it could
loosely.
end up in a book. Oh, and that's got to be hard too, right? As the parent to be like,
Oh
I
no, it's
want this
her
to
friends.
ring
Her
true,
friends
but
are great, and I always try to if we notice a struggle like with the dyslexia,
right.
I put my son's struggle in there. I put
Mhm.
modern what they're doing to address dyslexia, but it was more
Okay.
my emotion. My son
Yes.
is actually much better at dealing with failure than I was at
Mhm.
his age. So I really try to relate it back to our experiences so we can write about it authentically.
Yes. Yes.
But and then we've tossed around ideas of nonfiction books, not about birds.
Not about
I know nothing about birds. People always assume I do because I hang out with Nate. And to a certain amount, I've learned some bird facts. So every now and then I'll be like, oh yeah, ducks. And then people are like, oh, you
have you
do
been
know about
birding
them.
with them? Have you ever
I
gone out birding with
have.
them? Okay.
Birding is a quiet, calm person's
And that's not you, huh?
activity. We work well together because one of us is very calm and very patient, and one of us is very like chaotic and messy. and we balance each other out.
Which one is which, do you think?
Uh, I'm getting the vibe that you're just out of control, Nate.
So all the qualities that make Nate a superior birder are things I do not possess. That's his interest, and I support it. But
That's good. That's good to be
Kind of,
supportive.
kind of supports it.
sometimes it's hard not to be jealous of the birds.
And now you're jealous of the birds.
Well, for example, he's going to go to Canada for 3 weeks and study birds now. And so while he's gone, I will write another book.
Yeah.
And then when he comes back, I will toss it his way.
Nice.
And but yes, if he was here, we could be bouncing around ideas together.
But he's got to go see the birds.
Got to go see the
Gotta go
birds.
see the
That
birds.
that's part of the deal.
Because school's out for the college
Oh,
students,
yeah,
right? So that's
exactly.
when it's time to go birding.
That is May and June are my birding months.
Who's your little cat friend?
This is Isabella, and she has not seen me in a week, so I just knew it was going to be a losing battle to try to
Oh, that's
pick
adorable.
her off my lap.
I've seen bits and pieces of her.
Yes, you keep seeing the
All across.
tail. Like I've tried in other interviews to get rid of her, and
No,
it's
cats
better
are
just to
great.
tolerate her.
I have a 20-year-old cat that's my writing companion. He doesn't
Yes.
climb all over the place because he's too old now, but he does sit while I read and I write.
Nice. Nice. Can you share with us a children's book that has influenced you that you've just loved? We'll have Nate go first. Do you have one ready first?
I
I'm going to recommend Space Case
So good.
Okay,
by
I
Stuart
don't know
Gibson.
this book. Okay, tell me about it.
Oh, you should check this out.
Chick.
And this is the first in a series.
Who's the author?
Stuart Gibbs.
Oh, yes, that okay.
He did Belly Up.
And
Yes,
Spies
I've had
Over-
him on the channel. Yes, he's we did about his all ears in that Fun Jungle series.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the Spy School series. Yeah, so I've read the Fun Jungle books, but not Spy School, and I haven't. Tell me about Space Case. I don't know about it.
Space Case is a murder mystery
Ooh,
set
nice.
on a moon colony in a moon base. And
Nice.
there's a 12-year-old there with his family, living with his family on the moon, and
Right.
there's only like 30 people who live in the moon base. And so when one of them dies and everybody thinks it's an accident, but he doesn't think it's an accident, he has to investigate what's going on. It's a really fun, engaging, action-packed book. I gave it to my nephew. He absolutely loved it.
And a fast read. My
Nice.
son read it in 5th grade and he like read it over like a couple days. And he
Nice.
is dyslexic and has struggled with reading.
Oh, cool. Cool.
And he
Okay.
loved it.
Cool. Excellent. All right. And what have you got first, Kate?
I have got the Ramona Quimby books.
Oh, yay.
Ever
Throwback.
since my kids, when my daughter started kindergarten, we would read all the Ramonas through at the beginning of every school year out loud.
Right.
And the amazing thing is that so many of them hold up. Like when she started kindergarten, she also had like a little cubby with a little sticker next to her name, and then so she could tell which cubbies and spaces were hers. And then when we got to COVID and I had to cut their hair, they're like, "Oh, like Ramona's mom cuts her daughter's hair." I'm like, "Yes!" Like, man, it's like she predicted the struggles moms are going to be going through during the pandemic somehow,
nice.
you know? And so, what I love about Ramona is that she's just a normal kid who's like messing up and failing,
Nice.
but still a good kid. And I think that's why kids are drawn to her. And I'm hoping
Right.
that's why they're drawn to our character
Oh,
is
yes.
because it's real, you know,
It
it's a
really does. Yours feels
a
so
feeling.
real. And Ramona is a character from my youth, but yeah, I haven't thought about I need to pull that out and read it to my kids.
They're so good.
I have a couple on my shelf, but I haven't read it to them. Okay, yes.
Although I will say Picky Picky not spoiler.
Okay.
One of the books, Picky Picky does pass away.
Oh, okay.
And they talk about how old Picky Picky is, but Picky Picky is like 14 or something. And my cats were like 15, and both my kids were like crying, like, "Oh no, Picky Picky was so old, and our cat is older." Oh
Yeah,
no, kids, I'm so
that
sorry.
that is a good point. You said 20-year-old cat. That is an old kitty.
Yeah, he is very old.
Yes.
He's very sweet.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I have a brand new question that came. I was just at a conference and I was asking librarians what they want to hear on these episodes, and they said they want to hear your comp titles. If the kids are loving your book, can you recommend a couple that are in a similar style or in a similar thoughts? What can you share?
Well, we have two that are really good. The first one is Fish in a Tree,
Okay.
and it's about a girl with dyslexia and kind of her going through school and her thinking differently. And then do you want to talk about the other one?
The other comp title is Frindle. Have you read Frindle?
Yay, I love Frindle. I haven't read the other one that came out like last year, but yes, Frindle.
Frindle is great because it's got a similar vibe to our book. Frindle probably came out 20, 25 years
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Um,
But it's so short.
it's very short, it's very quick, and it has nothing to do with dyslexia,
Right.
or like what our character is going through, except that the main character in that book starts a school-wide movement that becomes
Yes.
a nationwide movement. This he gets this ball rolling on this in this quirky quest of his, and it spirals into this bigger thing than he ever expected it to, and that's got a really similar vibe to what happens in our book too.
Oh, perfect. Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and writing this book. And we cannot wait to see what future books come out from Kate and Nate.
Thank you so much. We love talking about it. We hope it finds its way into some hands of some good
Yes.
readers or some kids who need it.
Yes, for sure. It is, I feel like it is a must for shelves. I think it needs to be in libraries. It's so fantastic. I hope that you enjoyed hearing from Kate and Nate about their fantastic book, Confessions of a Mango. Would you do me a favor now? If you enjoy my podcast, BookHuddle, would you take a minute and rate and review BookHuddle on your podcast platform? Because that really helps my podcast to grow and help find other people interested in hearing about children's books and the themes that we find in them.